What does it mean to make this year the best financial year of your life? I think it comes down to these three principles. Get started, get habits, and get comfy. Let me explain. Get started. Think of your first investment like planting a seed in a garden. It might seem small and insignificant at first, but with time and care, it grows into something substantial. Starting with just £50 to £100 is like planting that first seed. You don't need a vast field or the most expensive seeds, just the willingness to start. In the book, The Lean Startup, Eric Ries emphasizes starting small to manage risk. Imagine if you could apply this to investing. Start with a small amount, learn the ropes, and then scale up. It's about testing the waters, not diving headfirst into the deep end. This principle is about overcoming the inertia of inaction. Just as a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, your financial journey begins with that first investment. It's less about the amount and more about taking the leap. Secondly, get habits. James Clear in the book Atomic Habits emphasizes the impact of tiny, consistent changes. Let's apply this to investing. Imagine saving just £10 a week. It might seem like a drop in the ocean, but over a year, that's over £500. And in 10 years, if you've got an average of 7% a year as an example, you'd have almost £7,000 after those 10 years. Small steps lead to big journeys. A big difference from the original £10 you started with. Developing a habit of investing is like building a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger it gets, and it's about creating a financial fitness routine. Start by setting up automatic transfers to your investment account, and this is paying yourself first in action to prevent you from spending your earnings on things that maybe don't matter as much, and one of the key principles from the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Consider the concept of compound interest. Often hailed as the eighth wonder of the world, even modest regular investments can grow into a significant sum over time. Much like how a snowball grows as it rolls down a hill, this is the power of consistency and time. With your consistent habits and the snowball effect of compound interest, the two together can become a strong force. And lastly is get comfy. Investing should be as comfortable and easy as settling on the sofa in an evening. It's about patience and resisting the urge to constantly check or change your investments. Think of it like planting a tree. You don't dig it up every few days to check the roots, you just trust it will grow. Warren Buffett's investment strategy isn't about being the fastest, it's about being steady. He invests in funds and holds onto them, understanding that market fluctuations are just part of the journey. And the history of the S&P 500 is a testament to the power of staying the course. A 7% annual return doesn't sound flashy, or maybe it does, but it's the average so far based on almost 80 years of the S&P 500 existing, which is the top 500 US listed companies. But over time, it can turn modest savings into a substantial nest egg. This is the art of letting your money work for you rather than you working for your money. But why is it easy after 100k? Saving 100k might sound like a lot of money, but your net worth can really start to rocket after you hit this all-important figure, especially if you have a dream of becoming a millionaire. So the math behind your money doubling faster as you approach 1 million, assuming a 7% annual growth rate, can be explained using the rule of 72. This rule states that you can estimate the number of years it takes to double your money by dividing 72 by the annual rate of return. At 7% growth, it takes approximately 72 divided by 7, which equals 10.29 years to double your money. So if you start with £100,000, in about 10.29 years, you'll have about £200,000. The next double to £400,000 again takes about 10.29 years, and so on. However, as your principal amount increases, the absolute amount gained each year also increases. For example, and to bring this to life, a 7% growth on £100,000 is £7,000, but on £500,000, it's £35,000. This increase return accelerates your journey to 1 million faster and faster and faster. The time it takes to go from 500,000 to 1 million is about the same as going from 100,000 to to 200,000. The exponential growth is why reaching that first major milestone is crucial. Once you hit it, the journey to each subsequent milestone and the next 100,000 and the next 100,000 becomes faster and faster, assuming consistent returns. So, what would you gain in each of these decade periods? Well, the first 100 to 200k milestone would take approximately 10.24 years. However, in the next 10 years, rather than gaining an extra 100 grand, you would go from 200 to 400,000 in the same 10.24 year period. Then in the next 10-year period, you'd go from that £400,000 to £800,000 again in the same 10.24 years. And then in the last and the fourth decade of investing, you would jump from 800,000 to 1.6 million again in 10.24 years. So what's my investing strategy this year? Well, it's not too different from what I've been doing for almost 10 years now, but I predominantly invest my money into the technology sector. I work in tech and I always have done, and I believe the industry is doing great things, especially with AI now on the scene. Hence why now in the S&P 500, the US's top 500 listed companies, it's no surprise that the big seven are all tech companies like Meta, Amazon, Alphabet, Tesla, and more, who collectively in 2023 drove most of the growth. But I'm also starting to put more money into specific AI funds. Not the kind of funds that use AI to invest, like robo-investors. I mean investing my money into companies that are working heavily in the AI industry and pushing the whole AI revolution forwards with either hardware or software. And I think there's some years of great potential ahead of us, and it is revolutionizing the world. AI is going to put a huge demand on all sorts of hardware to have that processing power in the future, which is why we've seen companies like Nvidia skyrocket in price, because they develop the hardware required to process and provide the power that AI needs. And it's just like in the great old gold rush, the people who really got rich were the ones that were selling the spades to allow people to go and dig. And I think that's where my current strategy is thinking about, as well as the companies that are revolutionizing their own AI, like Microsoft, who are heavily invested into OpenAI. I invest in all sorts, and one of my favorite funds is managed by Fidelity, known as the Global Technology Fund, with the code WGTFA. This specific fund for me personally has returned consistently and well for many, many years, some years reaching upwards of 40% growth, which is insane. Of course, past performance is never an indicator of the future, so don't go chasing that fund just because it did well a few years ago. I'm also trying out more ETFs through InvestEngine, including the iShared S&P 500 Technology Fund. To be fair, very similar to the Fidelity one in terms of sector, but has a heavier weighting in companies like Apple and Nvidia, but with the lower fees. That fund has the code IITU. I've invested a lot of my business funds with InvestEngine, so I'm excited that they're kindly sponsoring this video. They allow you to get started with just £100 and offer commission-free DIY investing, or have a team of experts who can do it for you, making it easy for you to take that first step. They allow you to get started with just £100 and offer commission-free DIY investing. Plus, their savings plan allows you to automatically top up your account weekly, fortnightly, or monthly, helping you to set those habits on your way to growing your portfolio. As an extra thank you from them for sponsoring this video, they're offering you a welcome bonus of up to £50 when you invest at least £100. So why not give them a try and set yourself up for a bright financial future? If you're not familiar with InvestEngine, their accounts are FSCS protected up to £85,000, and all the steps are taken to secure customers' funds by adhering to UK law and regulation, just as you'd expect from any compliant regulated financial services company in the UK. They're authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. Give them a try and save yourself hundreds in investment fees that the old platforms still charge. So one of the other funds I'm investing in with InvestEngine is the L&G Artificial Intelligence Fund that has top holdings in AMD and Nvidia, who make a lot of powerful hardware that powers AI. Microsoft, who are heavily invested into OpenAI, who made ChatGPT and really skyrocketed AI this year with the most powerful large language model. In 2023, collectively and on average, my total portfolio spread across many funds went up about 28%, which is a really strong year. However, don't get sucked into the idea that it's amazing amounts of money. Tech took a beating in 2022, with some of my funds dropping almost 50%, so it's a portfolio that's on the road to recovery for now. As usual, I'm the least qualified person to advise on how you invest your money, but I'm happy to share how my personal cash is invested. So how do you choose an account to invest? Now, there are many platforms out there. I do personally use InvestEngine, mainly because I found them the easiest provider who would allow me to easily invest my business money via a business account, but also as their ETFs are low cost and there's no platform fees, it means that I have more money to keep invested and earn interest on. They are sponsoring this video, but I still use them and advocate them separately from the sponsorship. It's up to your own preference. Not all platforms allow access to all funds, so first look at where you want to invest your money and what you want to invest in. What type of market, what type of companies? Is it stocks, is it precious metals or something else? Then from there, find the funds that interest you and where you want to put your money into, and then look at the platforms that support those types of funds, and also check out if the fees differ at all as well, because they can make a big difference. So, investing can be exciting. Planting that tiny seed in a big field can feel almost worthless at the beginning. But remember that mighty oak trees can grow from small acorns, and you can pretty much leave them alone to grow and do their own thing as well. If you enjoyed this video, then check out this one here, which explores how I would invest £20,000 in a stocks and shares ISA. So check out the video here, and I'll see you in the next video.